Y'all can hear me?
Yes, and we are live on Facebook.
Oh, I got a bunch of special guests. Two people are gonna be logging in real quick. They're sitting with me right there. But anyway, hey, there's welcome everybody.
Liz,
Set down your ball.
turn off your speak
Hey,
again, Nelson.
yeah. All right, let's get started.
Perfect. Now we're good.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to the party. My name is Nelson. If we have not met, welcome everybody. So it's great to have you guys. We have my very special friend Rachel. How you doing, Rachel?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here talking to you, Coach Nelly in the house.
Good. And this is our first time talking. This is actually our
Is
first
it?
time. I feel like I've known you forever.
I know. That's the power of social media.
So I want to introduce Rachel to the group. And Rachel, I want to introduce you to Investor Party. So Investor Party, we are a mastermind of business owners and entrepreneurs with a social mission. We acquire properties. We use investing in order to give back to the community. So we're a very special, close-knit group of entrepreneurs with huge hearts. We want to help for housing to LGBT, to the formerly incarcerated, to at-risk youth, to survivors of domestic abuse, and all of the above. So I'm so glad that you're part of it now, Rachel.
Well, you guys are doing amazing work and you are absolutely my people.
Thanks. So, and the reason I wanted you to be part of the family is because Investor Party, we're one giant tribe and we are growing. And there is something special when you are working with an environment of like-minded individuals who are passionate and who want to augment who they are in order to give back to the community. Now, Rachel, you specialize in developing tribes.
I do.
So share a little bit about yourself and what you do and where you're from.
Okay, so let me rewind it back to the way beginning when I was an activist in college. 9/11 happened my senior year, and I was an anthropology major, and I was really interested in like human rights issues and sustainable development and all of these things. And so the war on terror was impending, and I was like, we got to do something about that. So I found myself the leader of our campus anti-war movement, and I was suddenly like in the news on panel discussions, doing all of these like leadership type things. And I was like, oh shit, so that's how that happens. And so from there, I wanted to be like a professional activist. So I went to social work school at Georgia State because I went to Emory for my undergrad. And then so at Georgia State, they had this social work program that was about community partnerships. So it wasn't like the one-on-one clinical social work thing. It was more about doing community-based like interventions and stuff, which is what I was all about. Cause I'm like, why don't we address the roots of problems, right? So I went to this program while I was in the middle of co-founding a nonprofit pay what you want bicycle repair shop in Atlanta. It was very much a bar napkin idea between me and some friends, but it was the kind of thing where like the whole community wanted it. So that's what really made it possible. Like it was the combination of a handful of people willing to take the reins, but really it was about the whole entire community wanted this project to happen because Atlanta at the time, not a bicycling community. It is today. We might have had something to do with that. So we launched this like nonprofit bicycle repair shop. It happened in our living room for a while until we got a shop space in East Atlanta behind an antique shop. 600 square feet, but we had this giant parking lot we opened up into. And so it was more like an outdoor party fixing bikes and just capturing the real cross section of who lives in Atlanta. So that was really cool. From there, so I did that for like 5 years. From there, moved to New York. Just my life got kind of shaken up. And so I needed to change as it happens and didn't know what I was going to do. Well, actually I wanted like a normal nonprofit job. Like I didn't want to be in a gross bike shop anymore. I just wanted to like go to work, sit at a desk and then come home. Didn't happen. It was like the financial crisis, 2008, 2009. So I fell back on my side hustle, which was DJing. And
Oh.
so I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, yeah. So I decided that out of nowhere, I would compete with like the OGs and the legends and the birthplace of hip hop and DJing. And like, I'm going to make a go of it. And so I did, and managed to support myself as a DJ for a number of years, but using the same exact tribe building principles that I learned in social work school, that I learned just like in the trenches doing this work. It's all the same thing. It's all bringing people together for a common purpose, bringing your tribe together, getting people to take action, capturing what they consciously know that they need and serving that to them. But then on the back end being like, actually what you need deep down is this, and this is what we're going to do. But if you presented that like big juicy outcome up front, they'd be like, oh, I'm not going to do that. You know, so you kind of take them on this journey either through community organizing or through a dance party. It's literally the same. It's the same concept. And like, side note, my approach to content, like social media content marketing, is exactly how I come at DJing as well. Just like I can go into that if you really want me to.
Yes,
but,
actually continue.
we'll come back to that later. So during my DJ career, I met another DJ, fell in love, got married. He had a child already. And then I was a mommy, you know, and living the DJ life when you're on your own is cool. When you're a mom, it's like, so we moved back to Florida where I grew up, back to my hometown, had another child. So needed to sort of figure out how am I going to make all of this work and like with these time constraints and all of these other expectations of me. And then also this like whole pandemic thing happened. But I was already launching my business before, like I launched it and then pandemic happened and it was like, holy crap. But anyway, I found my way into Facebook groups. Long story short, long story long, I found my way into Facebook groups and realized that I can take everything that I know and apply it in the digital space via Facebook groups, just because I think Facebook groups are so freaking functional. It's not that like I have like a devotion to Facebook necessarily. It's just that it's like super functional and everybody that I interact with is on Facebook, but it's really about the principles. The principles apply anywhere. But I've taken it into the Facebook group space where I'm helping entrepreneurs rock their Facebook groups because it's been such a game changer for me. Because why not keep your tribe close, serve them, see what they need, and then sell them extended solutions, you know, because sometimes it makes sense to get paid for your work. So, right. So, you know, so that's the approach I'm taking. But it's all built on the same principles that I learned on the ground in the trenches.
So the business structure and the business model that you have now, it actually wasn't, am I correct? It wasn't the original idea that you had. It just kind of evolved and then you found your niche. So you're talking about an entire group of different entrepreneurs at different levels of their business development. Some of the coaching techniques that you tell your tribe, can you share with us how your journey and how your business evolved, what it is now?
So I think we probably met when I was briefly a recruiter. For recruiters.
Yes, actually we did.
Yes. So this job fell into my lap through a family friend while I had actually gotten my real estate license.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I was like regrouping, trying to, like, I had my son, he has special needs. He's on the autism spectrum. So I was like, I really need to figure out something where like it's lucrative. I have flexibility, all this kind of stuff. So I got a real estate license, as you do, right? And just after I passed the exam, I ran into a family friend and she knew somebody and they were like, no, don't do real estate. You're going to be on the go too much while you have a baby. Do this recruiting thing instead. You'll be on LinkedIn. It'll be really easy and you're going to make a lot of money. So I totally fell for it because it was like a family friend. And why would I not trust them? But let me tell you, if somebody tells you something's easy money, they are full of shit. So anyway, but it took me into the world of LinkedIn, and the way that they taught me how to do LinkedIn was like, nah. But I was interested in learning how to do it the right way because there was something to it. Like there was something to social media that was interesting to me because I'm on it all the freaking time. So anyway, I signed up for a coaching program about LinkedIn marketing, did that, and closed like a giant deal with like a $17,000 commission check attached to it.
Okay.
Plot twist, the client dragged their feet on paying, and then it turned into a whole legal thing. And then it was just such a freaking mess that I was like, peace, see you later.
Yeah.
So from there, I mean, I eventually got paid, but whatever. From there, I was like, I have to do my own thing. This is so fucking stupid. Like, I have all of this experience, like education. I've done all these things. I've launched big ideas. I know what I'm doing on social media. Why am I not doing my own thing? And instead of like representing some other company whose brand I don't believe in, this is so stupid. So,
Welcome to the group. A lot of us we're there. We just, we're done. We're
exactly.
done.
And that, you know, I'm like, that's why I'm sharing like these sort of like deep inner, like, the things that you, as entrepreneurs, we probably wouldn't say publicly, but I feel like it's important for us to connect in this way, because I feel like we've all been down this road. Right?
We're very not PC.
Okay.
We're very not safe for work. You could
say
anything.
Well, good. So, so what did I do next? I signed up for a coaching program, as you do, to launch my new online business that I had no idea what it was going to be. Went through that and launched a coaching business to help perfectionist women like not be perfectionists. Yeah, right. The face that you are making. But so what I learned from that experience is if you're going to coach people, you need a tangible outcome. Like if you don't have a tangible outcome, it's dead in the water. So just take that and do what you want with it. So anyway, I created a Facebook group because that's what you do when you're an online coach. You have a Facebook group. Right. And I launched a Facebook group. It sucked. It had like a stupid name and it just had my friends in it and I didn't know what I was doing. And so I kind of left it and I just kept at it on LinkedIn, and I was like, I am not getting anywhere. Like I have to, you know, like you're standing on the grocery store line and it's not moving, but you're committed to being on that line. But eventually you have to like get off of that. It was one of those like, So
been there.
I was like, Facebook group. I should learn how to really do this Facebook group thing. So I signed up for a 5-day challenge about Facebook groups and I won a prize.
Congratulations. What was it?
Thanks. I won for like most membership growth by percent. So I went from like 50 members to like 200 members or 200 plus members. I rebranded it. It wasn't my current brand, but it was better than what I had before. So I was like, I won a prize. I have something. Like there must be something to it. I'm very competitive. So like if I win a prize for something, I'm like, yes, this is what I'm doing. So I just kept at it, rebranded again, didn't quite get there, but it was good enough that I managed to launch a coaching program about Facebook groups when I only had 400 people in mind. So, I mean, so it just goes to show you, like, you don't have to have like the greatest, biggest, most ultimate thing in order to teach people how to achieve that thing. You just have to be enough steps ahead of them. And have enough of your own unique process that you can teach them to get them to where you are. And then you can all kind of move up together. And so I managed to do this like high ticket group coaching program, put 9 people through it in like 3 different groups, like cohorts or whatever. And by the end of it, I was like, I don't like this model.
well, why not?
You know, it was me. Like if I'm going to do it again better, but I kind of left it up to them to kind of like direct where they wanted it to go, which was good for the first round. They were beta testers and I had a plan for the whole thing and it all kind of went out the window because it was too much. But for the second round and the third round, I could have solidified it more and just delivered like, okay, now I know exactly what you need to know. But instead I did it round robin style where people would show up, tell me what they were doing, where they were at, and then I would address their specific needs. So I like that. And that's why I just launched a membership club instead, where I can come at it that way and help people in where they are. Because that's the difference between like a course and a coaching program versus a membership. Because in a coaching course or a coaching course, like, you know, it's a course, but you get live coaching, whatever. People come in usually at a similar point A and you're taking them on a journey to a similar point B and they're all kind of moving together if everybody, you know, stays on top of everything. But in a membership, people can come in at different points in their journey and get what they need in order to move the needle farther. And so that's very much me. So that's why I've launched my free Facebook group is Rock Your Tribe. And so the membership is the private club, because my whole branding thing goes back to my DJ experience. So it's very like club venue oriented. It's cute. Yeah, so that's what the private club is about. So I went from this sort of like, I'll hold your hand and help you launch your thing in 12 weeks to like, I'm going to have live trainings and hot seats where like, if you're in the hot seat, we're going to look at your Facebook group live with everybody. And I'm going to tell you what I actually think. And I'm going to give you a strategy for it to get you to where you want to go. Yeah. So, right. So I did the coaching, that wrapped up in like May or June. And then, from there, I created a plan, launch, and grow your Facebook group masterclass. And this was really cool because I pre-sold it before I made it. So I got paid to make it, which was really cool. And I used like Zoom, I used Canva, and I used Zoom and like QuickTime to just like kind of edit it, like just chop some time off of it, uploaded it to an unlisted playlist on YouTube and gave people PayPal links to pay for it. So I just wanted to prove that like, you don't need anything to like make money. Like that was money out of thin air. That was.
Nice. So these are all tools that we have at our disposal right now.
Exactly.
Reframe our thinking and see the strategy is right in front of us.
It is. And all I did was ask people, if I created a masterclass on how to plan, launch, and grow your Facebook group, would you buy it at a no-brainer price? And enough people said yes. I was like, all right, so let me float them a payment link. Here you go.
Was it this one time? I remember you did a post and it just kind of, it came to you that, you woke up one day and you just say, I'm going to make money. And then you just did.
Yeah,
was it?
that was it. That was the one. That was the one. And it's had like this amazing ripple effect. So people were excited about it because I made something people actually wanted. Like people have an urgent need to understand how this Facebook group thing works.
Yeah.
And so and it was short. It was 45 minutes. It's like an hour now because I added a bonus section on monetizing your group. But it's short, like little videos, very bite-sized. And believe it or not, I get to the point when I'm like explaining. This is like long form Rachel talking, but like when I teach stuff, I'm very to the point. And so people were able to implement quickly. So I started getting social proof immediately, which was so clutch. So I was able to put that out there and that kind of drove some more sales. And then I bumped the price up. And so doors closed on the no-brainer price. And so I got like a whole bunch of sales then. And then eventually, in the meantime, I was having a website built. And so it's on my website. And the cool thing about it being on my website is that now I can use the Facebook pixel. So when I get ready to run ads for things, I have this traffic from people who have bought the course that feeds the pixel. My Facebook group feeds the pixel. So all of these things, like when you rock a Facebook group for your ideal client and you're planning to run ads, you can drive your ad spend down because you can use machine learning. And use the data from your Facebook group to drive that ad spend down.
Okay.
So I have a partner that I met on Facebook, actually, Nate O'Reilly, who is my ads guy. And so we partner on that to serve clients together.
So we're in a space where we have to find distressed properties and we have to basically, they're motivated sellers, right? But we also have to match them with potential buyers and also, but we're all at different stages in our businesses. I mean, could a simple person, like someone who is they don't even have a large Facebook following, but we want to be in business, is a Facebook group right for that person?
Yes. And so speaking of NATO, so he's into cybersecurity and ethical hacking. That's his world. And it's teeny tiny. It's like a very small industry. And so it's a good thing when your industry is small. So for you to like rise to the top doesn't take that long. And so I helped him grow his Facebook group. It had 70 people in it when he did an Ask Me Anything style live video, and on the back end of it, upsold to into his program, which was like, it was like a $400 product, some kind of course. Yeah, so he sold 8 spots in that program at $400 a piece off the back end of an Ask Me Anything live video in a Facebook group of only 70 people. So that's $3,200 off of one live video in a group of 70.
So this is why we should have Facebook groups.
Yes.
For our businesses.
Yes.
It's very easy when we have caught their attention and we already know that they're pretty much not only interested in us, they're interested in our product. It only makes sense to do so.
Yeah.
What's ethical hacking? We have a question.
Ethical hacking. You'd really have to ask Nathan about it. There's like bad hackers, right? So, but there are hackers for good.
Really?
Yeah, there are hackers for good.
We'll look that up.
Yeah, I'll come back to you about that one. But you should have Nathan on this program. Actually, he's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Actually, James responded. Thanks, James.
Cool.
We have another question from Steph. Is the Facebook page different from the group?
Yes. So Facebook pages are kind of like digital business cards, similar to like a LinkedIn profile in a way. And the organic reach of pages isn't that great because the idea is you're supposed to spend money there and like run your ads from your page. So the organic reach of your group is way better than from your page. So it's good to maintain a page, especially if ads are in your future. There's kind of like a legitimacy issue there too. But put your effort into your group. Facebook actually prioritizes notifications from groups. So if you look at your notifications, you'll see it's mostly groups. There's a reason for that. So if you're on your organic marketing hustle, put your energy into your group, and then you can just copy and paste your posts from your group onto your page just so there's stuff there.
Maintenance wise, and Rachel, you're busy. So how often do you go into your group? How do you organize your content? How do you maintain constant engagement, consistent engagement?
Okay, so engagement in Facebook groups is super important because it is that way to work the algorithm to your advantage. But the solution to that is very simple and feeds your business in other ways. So it's as simple as asking a daily question that's gonna get engagement. And I think it's important to keep it fresh and interesting, thought-provoking, amusing, not too difficult to answer. So this is where the DJ thing comes in. So sometimes I give them something funny. Sometimes I give them something that's kind of a thinker, but like not too much. And sometimes it's kind of surface level. So I, kind of vary the time commitment and the emotional response to it. So it always feels different. It's always interesting. There's always a reason to come back. You can use Facebook's internal editor where it's like cute with the colors. You know what I'm talking about, when you get like the emoji backgrounds and whatever. That you don't have to bother with making branded images. That's like a total time suck. Ask open-ended questions. Yes, no questions are okay, but open-ended questions are better. And this allows you to get to know your people better. It gets them talking with each other, which is really important. So that's like a big piece of the tribe concept, is that you want your people to be talking with each other. So especially so in a group of entrepreneurs, they're going to want to interact with each other on certain points. So I'm trying to think of a good example. Okay, so one thing I did was I posted who wants to be a guest expert in somebody else's group. Talk about it here. Or I don't remember the exact verbiage, but I opened the floor to them, and allowed them to find each other and book each other in each other's groups. And that post went nuts. Another one was what triggered you to start your business? And so using the word trigger in there was triggering. Like, it wasn't what inspired you to start your business. And it was one of those like pre-coffee things that I wrote. And then I looked at it and I was like, I don't know about this question. But I got everybody's a lot of us who start businesses come from some shit happened,
Yes.
Yeah. So everybody right. So everybody but the thing about the Facebook group, a private group, this is the thing. It's got to be a private group because it creates that safe space when everybody trusts each other, and everybody opened up. about the shit that had happened. And it's
Mm-hmm.
all gut-wrenching stories, like 99% of it.
Yeah.
But I think it was a testament to the safe space we cultivated that everybody was willing to go there.
I love that you brought that up, because that's going to be super important. It is already important in our group, because one of the reasons, probably the biggest reason why we are so close knit is because we do feel a safe space. We have gotten vulnerable with each other. We have cried to each other, and we all have come from these backgrounds where we pretty much agree we're being given a second chance, a third chance at life, redemption. You have, think of some issue, some life issue, you'll find someone in our group has been through it. And so we trust each other. One of the reasons why I needed to get you in this family also is because you yourself are so inspiring, and you have a story as well. And you've dedicated your life empowering others as well. You're in a safe space. I would love for you to share like your inspiration, your background, and how do you uplift people in your uplift people around you?
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Hold on.
I've been following your content, so I know your story.
Well, yeah. Okay. So I got really sick when I was 11 years old. I had a staph infection in my hip. It went septic. It was really horrible. I survived. But my hip joint was like jacked up forever. And, you know, I was 11 years old and I wasn't allowed to run and jump and play anymore. And the chronic pains started, the mobility issues started. Bicycles gave me my life back in college because I was walking around from class to class, and then I'd be laid up for the rest of the day because my hip fucking hurt. But I got a bike. And then suddenly I was like, okay, I can move around, and this is saving me from some of the pain because there's no joint impact on a bicycle.
Yeah.
So I became evangelical about bikes, and I was also an environmentalist and an activist. So that whole thing just kind of like escalated. But a lot of it had to do with my illness and my injury and all that kind of stuff. And so then in my DJ years, I was hobbling around, I'm carrying a large bag, and I was in New York. So I'm like up and down subway stairs and standing on platforms and standing for mad long at like gigs with, and if you've ever had a standing job, if you've had to stand on concrete, that shit sucks. Even if you're like, if you don't,
New York too.
What's that?
Steph's
in New York. Yeah.
I'm in New York, and it sucks when I used to be a waitress for this one place. Like a lot of the restaurants are like on stone, like concrete floors.
Yeah.
And of course they're like, you can't sit down at any point of the day.
Yeah, fuck that.
So all you do is stand on your feet on concrete floors.
Oh, that's horrible. It's horrible. And then you gotta like walk to the train, stand on the platform, go up and down the stairs, walk home. It's like, it's a killer. And that just put my hip like over the edge. And so I had this, I got with my husband, my then boyfriend, who had a daughter, and she was little and adorable and so much fun, and we would go to the park and I couldn't play with her. I had to like sit and watch. It was horrible, and she had to put my shoes and socks on for me. She thought it was fun at the time because she was like 5 years old, but like it was because I literally was incapable of putting my own shoes and socks on.
Yeah.
So finally I was like, I got to do something about this. I did physical therapy, I did acupuncture, and then it just I couldn't take any more gigs. Like everything was falling apart, and I was like, I have to get the surgery, even though I was terrified. I had to find an orthopedist who would do it I was 34 at the time. And my first orthopedist was like, no, you're too young. And I was like, what about my life? So I finally found at that point I had gotten onto Medicaid in New York. And so that was actually a blessing, because when you're on Medicaid, you get the young doctors. And the young doctors understand.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was routed so I was on a plan that put me at Elmhurst Hospital because I was living in Queens at the time. And at first I was like, Elmhurst Hospital, Medicaid, what the fuck? Like, but I wound up getting my hip replaced for free by an orthopedist at Mount Sinai, who's like the official orthopedist for the US Open. So,
whoa.
And I never got a bill for anything. So it worked. Yeah. Did I manifest that? I don't know. So then I, rode to recovery, and you know, hadn't worked in a long time, had a family and a kid, and we're in New York, and this is like fucking nuts. So we decided to move back to Florida and kind of regroup and figure things out, and that's that. And then there's another story that I don't really talk about that much, but since we're here and since you asked,
share it.
so like, and I'm surprised that nobody ever asks me about this. Like, why did I leave my nonprofit that I co-founded and directed for 5 years? Why did I walk away and move to New York? Why would a person do that? Maybe something really awful happened. And I'm like, kind of like, maybe people don't pay that much attention to my story, but I'm like, don't you guys wonder why I did that?
We all want in our business, we always think what we all want is a for-profit and a non-profit. So we're always thinking, choosing like, who are the entrepreneurs who have that mindset? And So
one night I survived an armed robbery and I was assaulted in a particular way. And 9 months after that happened, I was like, I'm fucking out of here. So yeah, and it was like during a time that Atlanta was experiencing a lot of violent crime in our community, and my story got co-opted, actually.
Really?
By some other people in my community who were on their social media grind at the time. This was like 2009 at this point, and they were trying to do this like citizen neighborhood vigilante thing that just sort of like smacked of gentrification and racism and stuff. And I was like, ew, that's not, no, like my whole thing was restorative justice, and I didn't want my story to be used by these people for that narrative. And so immediately we had a like a benefit party thing. And so then I like invited restorative justice oriented organizations to come, like have a table, have information. And at that point, because of my work, I was really involved with like city council. I had a lot of support from city council. They let me throw a dance party at the downtown train station one time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because so the MARTA is like the Atlanta trains and bus system, and they're threatening to cut like Saturday service because the budget was fucked up. Like they had the money, but it was in a different budget. You know what I mean? It wasn't in operations; it was in something else or whatever. But that's crazy. Like, how do you like stop public transportation on like 1 day a week? And that's fucking nuts. So anyway, I had built a relationship with Kwanzaa Hall, who was on city council. He just took John Lewis's spot in Congress, but he allowed me and the people I was working with to do like a rally demonstration thing, and it was a dance party at the MARTA station, whatever. So I had
that part about you.
So I had the attention of like city council and things, and so I just thought it was really, really important because there was already a larger neighborhood conversation happening, and because Atlanta is such like the gentrification and like, you know, just the tensions and the history and everything. It's very delicate. It's just so delicate, and it has to be treated that way. And I had someone who was my friend actually was on her like social media come up. And so I felt like she was using my story to further her personal agenda, which she kind of hung her hat on this like, you know, stamp out violent crime thing, which was, so it just wasn't, anyway, that's the part that really upset me a lot. Like, you know, after the fact, is just the way that, you know, people will use your story for their own social media gain. It was weird. But anyway, that shit happened, and like I just could not anymore. I was like, I gotta go. I never intended to stay in Atlanta for that long anyway, but I didn't really know what I wanted. And then this thing happened, like the bike shop happened, and I was there, and it was like big and important, and I felt this like sense of responsibility. But you know, for better or for worse, this particular event eventually lit the fire under my ass to like go do something else, be somewhere else, try a different life. Yeah.
Now through your content, I started learning more about that incident, and after that, all I've known you is to be a a fearless entrepreneur. I mean, to me, you're a prime example of like nothing really scares you. That's why I find gravitated to your content. It's like it's so inspiring, and just sometimes as an entrepreneur, it gets so overwhelming and frustrating. I do want to give up, and I do want to just lie down and go to sleep.
Oh yeah. No, I'm totally a ball of anxiety. I just don't talk about it.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Oh yeah. I put my brave face on publicly, but on the inside, like I'm, spazzing most of the time.
Good to know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I follow you. I think I'm part of your group. But I know that like the number of members you now. I mean, you surpassed the 1,000 mark.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I know that. But I love that you created a safe space, and you said 99% of the time is just people are being vulnerable. What really brings us normalcy, because oftentimes, like you said, we put up this front that we have to have everything together. We're entrepreneurs, we're business owners, and we practice our 6-second elevator pitch, and we forget there's a human side to us. There's a human experience. We have a question from Steph. What is one quick tip to start a group and grab your page followers to join?
A quick tip. I think about the forward-facing element of your group, the name, the description, the banner, and you want it to be about the community and who they aspire to be. Unless your thing is like a particular outcome, like if it's physical fitness, like that is a very specific kind of outcome. But for the most part, it's about who the people are and who they want to be. And if you help people with like trauma or some kind of like difficult experience, don't make it about that, make it inspiring, or at least a relief from that. You don't want to make it a pity party. And don't worry about the group being gigantic. That's not as important as the group being the right people that are engaging with each other.
Okay. And monetizing, did you ever think that your career was going to take you in this particular direction, as this very specific niche?
No, not at all. No.
I mean, I think it's awesome. So we are working in a group of other entrepreneurs also, who we intentionally start with one thing that we think our businesses are going to form. For your living example is just to be open and have the business start evolving. Did you ever have a business plan or anything? Did you have a roadmap?
I wrote one when I was in that coaching program. So I was in I don't know if I'm following it. I am not. I had to write one for this coaching program that I did a year ago to help. It's like a launch your online business in 12 weeks kind of thing. And one of the weeks was write a business plan, which I did, and I haven't looked at it since I wrote it. And maybe this is just how I operate, but it lends itself to the work that I do, obviously. But I'm just kind of like monitoring my tribe and seeing what people need and seeing what comes back to me and creating stuff based on that. My degrees are in cultural anthropology and social work. So I'm like a social scientist anyway. So I'm like sort of like dialed into doing the data collection. I just sort of naturally do it. And that's a DJ thing too, is like reading the room and serving people what they need. So yeah, and people have come to me asking for services that offers I've never put out there, but I'll listen to them and then gauge whether like I can do that or not, and put a price tag on it and be like, sure, I'll do that. Like, why the fuck not? Yeah. So I have a couple of like consulting clients. I'm currently like in a couple of people's Facebook groups doing some of the work for them. That was cool for the few people I've done it for who have asked me to, but through that, I've learned that I would rather provide strategy and support rather than be in the Facebook group. But from being in their groups, I've learned a lot of things so I can help guide people better. So that I don't think that you should be a people pleaser about it. Like if somebody asks you for something you don't want to do, then obviously say no, and put like, and don't undervalue it, like I could have put better prices on things, looking back. But if you want to explore an idea, you might as well, because you just don't know. It's like you in the entrepreneur journey, it's like constant discovery. It's like, so if you haven't, like, if you have your whole thing hammered out. Like I know people who sit down in December and plan out their whole year, the whole upcoming year, their launches and their challenges and their travels and like, they can do this whole thing. I am not there yet. And so for me, like, I'd rather kind of explore stuff until I can get to that point where I'm like, okay, I know what I want to do. I can project out how much income is going to happen from this. I've outsourced enough things to people that this kind of like, this runs like this. Like, I'm still putting those pieces together.
Let's talk about family. We all have our families, and our mission is to help, is basically to house the homeless, who are all, we view them as family also. How, as a working mom, how do you balance it all? I mean, your content, your marketing, you're catering to the groups and stuff, and raising a child.
Yeah, two children actually. So so the stepdaughter, she is now 13, and the little guy is 3 now. So I have a 3-year-old and a 13-year-old, which is interesting. I've had to just kind of make my peace with some things. Like, I've barreled through stuff and made shit happen, and like torn my hair out, like trying to balance all of these things. And like right now I'm actually in overtime because my son comes home from school at like between 3 and 3:30. My husband picks him up. And so this is not my usual video spot. I'm hiding in my bedroom right now. But I was like, this one I can go into overtime for. So yeah, most of my work day is really compacted into when the little one is at school. The big one, the big one's doing virtual school. She's very self-sufficient. But the little one is, I mean, he's on the autism spectrum and he's like mama's boy. So, and even if he's occupied with something, there's no guarantee that he's not going to be occupied moments later. And like, something that drives me nuts is having my thoughts interrupted. Like, if I'm doing something and I get interrupted, that pisses me off so much.
Same.
So yeah, so I've had to just admit to myself and make peace with the fact that when he's home, and he's awake, like, I'm not going to get anything done. Even if I could, I'm going to get interrupted, and then I'm going to get mad, and I don't want to be mad. But like, if we're going by the 80-20 rule, right? Like 20% of your effort yields 80% of your results, and like 20% of your clients bring you 80% of your income. Do I need to be working that much, really? Or am I like looking for a sense of feeling busy, and feeling busy makes me feel like I'm accomplished? So,
more strategically working. Yeah, you have to balance out your time.
Yeah.
So I think that the way that you structured your business and when you and I met, both of us had business lines that were very niche. And at first it was kind of hard to explain. I know for me, so if people don't know my other career, I'm a personal trainer turned financial educator. And so it was a very specific pitch to people. And I always got like an eyebrow raise, and I always felt like I had to explain myself. Rachel, when you're explaining your business line, do you ever feel like you're so niche or you're so unique that it takes a while for people to even understand what you do?
No, not at this point, because people understand the use of Facebook groups as an asset in their business. Like, people get that. So it's not too much of a leap to say I help online business owners rock Facebook groups for their business. People get that. But when I was doing like the perfectionist thing, it was like, what? Like, what are you doing? But I got what you were doing, because you're helping other. Yes, like, it made sense to me. Like, you're helping other physical trainers build a business out of it.
Yeah.
I got that. You know, and like, I get that. Like, moving from, you know, being a freelancer. Like, when I feel like when you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I used to DJ in gyms. Like, I used to do
in the gym.
What?
In the gym?
In the gym, yeah. When I lived in New York, I did not Planet Crunch Gym. I did Crunch Gym in New York. I was they put me in Chelsea, and so it was like, you know, rah house music the whole time. It was like not really my thing, but I did it anyway. I was like, I can deal with this because you guys are cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun. And then I went over to Union Square where I could just play all the hip hop I wanted, which was great. And
Nice.
I thought I was so clever for playing things like Mama Said Knock You Out. I'm like, don't you guys get it? It's a joke because we're in a gym. Get it? Yeah, so I would see the personal trainers because they were kind of like in my area where I was, and it's sort of like, it seems kind of like when you are a what do you call it? Like an esthetician or like a hair stylist, when you like kind of rent a chair somewhere. It's, so it kind of like had that kind of feel to it. Like, I don't know if you're actually employed by the gym or you're kind of like renting space there or whatever, but it seems like the next evolution of that would be to get yourself out of there and like kind of run your own show, and then you have more control over how much you charge, and you could scale and you can offer like group packages. Like I saw, like, I got what you were doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
So people in your group, I mean, you have a huge, I'm a big fan of yours. And then in your group, some success stories. I mean, people have used your services in order to leverage their own businesses, not just their own Facebook groups, but to monetize their businesses. Can you share with us some success stories?
Yeah, so I occasionally open up the group for everybody to go live for 5 minutes to introduce themselves, their business, their offer. I give them kind of a script to go through. I call it Live Video Palooza because I grew up going to Lollapalooza back in the day. Because it's like a festival of live video. And so doing her 5-minute live video for one of my members kicked her ass into doing live video, because I challenged them afterwards. I was like, what you just did here was practice, and you're going to go on your personal profile and do this. Use my questions. You already practiced. Go do this.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, she found the fire to go live. And I think she ran like a 5-day challenge and managed to like fill up with clients, like paying clients. She was like about to throw the towel in. Like she was about to be like, fuck this, I'm out. And just from a 5-minute live video, she did all these other things, but that resulted in being completely booked out, and it saved her business.
So putting ourselves out there.
Yeah.
Letting people see who we are and what we sound like and what we do. Some of us are pretty afraid. Dude, let's be honest. Some of us are like, oh, I'm a shy person. I'm not even on Facebook all that much, but just being authentic and being the real you, it just, people are naturally gravitated toward it.
Yeah, exactly. And like the more of yourself that you are, the easier this whole thing is. And I know it sounds kind of cliche and everybody says it, like, be your authentic self. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? But
yeah, Rachel, what does that mean?
But like the longer you do this, like, I don't think that you have to think too hard about it, but just keep at it and just like loosen up a little bit every time and you'll get there.
What we have learned, it's we take pride that we're not safe for work, and we are very proud that we curse and we talk a lot of shit, and we're always messaging each other on Zoom. I get texts from random people during a meeting and I'm supposed to be professional, but too bad Derek is in here because he makes me laugh all the freaking time. Too bad our founder Jacob is in here because he is, I mean, if you think I curse a lot and you think my wrist flick a lot, I mean, he is fabulous. Bo, if he's here, he would attest to that also. Oh, he's in Miami. He's not far from you, Rachel. And he rides a bike.
Ah, my people.
Yeah. But it was really cool when we discovered that about ourselves. We kind of put down our guard and just shared our real selves, which is we would probably all find ourselves at a bar, which we have actually. It was fun. You saw our pictures from Colorado Springs.
No, but I need to. I wish I was there.
It was so fun. We were, I mean, yes, we were helping build the house and remodel it or whatever like that. We were drunk. And we were high. So.
You gotta have fun though. Like when you're doing that hard work, you gotta, like, there's nobody said like doing community work and helping people has to like suck and be boring and like, a bummer.
It was so fun. So Hector and Liz are with me right now. See?
They're like literally right there. That's hilarious.
These two. They were the bad influences.
It does suck. It does suck when you're not there right? You're not there, and you have to like still run the show and be like, guys, like, come on, like, how can
Oh, so special shout out to Steph, who runs our marketing. So I know she's been taking notes on everything that you have been saying, and she's probably going to be implementing it.
Awesome.
So, thank you,
Yeah.
Steph.
I did have a question before, because we're, which was, and if you shared it, I'm so sorry, I probably zoned out, which is like, because we started our Facebook page and we're trying to build that, but now you're like, you should have a Facebook group. And I'm like, okay, so my question is, like, if you could give us like one value tip add of like, if you're starting a new page, right? I'm a new group from having already established a page, how are you able to like influence your page followers to gravitate to the group so you can at least start the group growth?
I mean, you could just tell them.
I know that's a simple
I'm sorry,
answer,
that's like kind of a stupid answer, but you can, okay.
Is there another trick? That's like, I believe in common sense, and that's common sense. Like, I got that. But
Sorry.
Is there another? No, it's totally cool. I could have been a little clearer, I guess. Is there like another, like an extra trick or tool that we could utilize on top of just saying, hey, we started a new page just for like talking all things real estate or all things, these questions that we're revolving in our stuff. We'd love for you to join and have an open discussion. Is there another thing that we could do? Like,
you to start doing special events in the group and just make sure you're promoting it on the page and tagging people, and you can reach out to people personally. If they're already in your world, they've already opted into being connected to you, you can reach out to them personally and just say, hey, love having you as a member of the page. I hope you're getting a lot out of this. We love your contribution here. We're starting a group soon, which is going to be way more fun than this page, way more interactive, and there's going to be a lot more going on to support you and your mission. Can I invite you to the group? No hard feelings. If you always get people in out, no hard feelings. If you don't want to hop over to the groups, but the group's going to be awesome. We'd love to have you there.
Nelson, our members, oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, do you ever kick people out?
Yes, oh my God, yes. There are creeps out there.
Ooh, tell us.
Okay, so I mean, people who are just like obviously going to be spammy and like not stop being spammy, I just get rid of them. Because I'm in so many groups, I see everything. I see what everybody's doing, and there's people who will just like post their sales pitch across multiple groups. Without adding any I'm not opposed to people promoting themselves in my group, but I am opposed to spam, and I want you to give before you take. And I think that's kind of like basic, and so the people who are regular contributors to the group, if they want to promo their stuff, fine. But people who like show up and immediately start posting their sales pitch that they've posted in a million other groups, I'm like, you can leave now, bye. Like I started having conversations with them, but it's not worth it. They're just like on that mission, so whatever.
Watch out for that.
But there was one guy who was weird anyway. Yes, right. No. He was weird anyway, and he would just like disagree with everything and just kind of be like a curmudgeon about stuff. Like if I asked like, who's your favorite recording artist? Just like kind of like throw people like a fun question that's like not really on topic, but part of the brand. Like that kind of thing. Or like, what celebrity would you like to, have in your Facebook group or whatever the fuck. And he was like, I don't believe in that. Like he was, the eternal contrarian. He would just like be opposed to stuff and like fight with me on stuff, and I'm like, okay, fine. But then I hear my child screaming his head off downstairs. He posted on his personal profile a story about a telemarketer named Rachel that he wanted to murder because she called him and he doesn't like telemarketers. And it was spelled the way that I spell my name, which is weird. It was just, and at the end of it, he acknowledged that there are Rachels in his network. And so apologies to, you know, the other Rachels in his network who may be offended by this. And I was like, you can go fuck yourself. You know, like, this is fucking, what?
This profile, should we follow?
Oh God, I don't even remember anymore. But yeah, I just like 86 and like being an assault survivor, like I have like no tolerance. I have no tolerance for men talking to me in a particular way. I'm like, like there's no second chances for you. So I just got rid of him immediately. I blocked him. I took him off my mailing list. Oh, and he actually emailed. I couldn't find him on my mailing list because I guess he didn't like enter his full name. I don't know what the fuck, but he was on my mailing list and I couldn't find him. And so he actually emailed me, like responded to a mailing list email. And I was like, there you are, fucker. And I
found you.
Yeah, so I blocked him. I blocked him everywhere, removed him. I was like, get out of my life forever. Yeah.
Steph, you had a question?
I already asked it.
Oh,
I wasn't sure if you had asked
it. Well, Rachel, if anybody in Investor Party, now you see a very small portion of the family that we got, but we're about 120, 125 people across the country. We're streaming on Facebook right now, so lots and lots of people are looking at you right now. If anybody needs to get in contact with you, how do they reach out to you?
Yeah, so find me on Facebook. You can see my name here. I'm the only Rachel Spiewak like this. You can join my Facebook group, which is Rock Your Tribe Audience Building for Entrepreneurs. You can check out my website, rockyourtribe.com. If you're on Instagram, I'm there. If you're on LinkedIn, I'm there. But since we're on Facebook, find me on Facebook and get in my group, Rock Your Tribe Audience Building for Entrepreneurs.
Thank you so much for your time, Rachel. I really appreciate it. On behalf of everyone at Investor Party, thank you for the inspiration. Thank you for the tips. Thank you for helping us build our businesses. And if there's anything that we can do in return, you let us know. But again, thank you so much for your time, Rachel. And I am so glad you and I finally had a chance to speak together.
I can't believe we've never actually spoken with each other before. This is so weird, but thank you.
It's been so long. I feel like I feel you forever.
I know. Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. And I hope that I can get active with you guys because you're doing great stuff.
You're part of the family now, Rachel. You ain't going nowhere. Okay?
Yay.
Our founder, Jacob, is just north of you. Boca Raton, I think north of you. And Bo is in Miami. So
that's crazy. So we're going to party down here. I got the medical card, so what's up?
Bo's a bartender. So
hell yeah.
Hi, Bo. I don't know where you are, but I just sold you. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining the party. I'll see you next time.